Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. So a viewer of my channel commented on one of my videos. The name of Hemrawc, H-E-M-R-A-W-C, commented on a video wanting to know my top 5 or 10 favorite games on the ColecoVision Flashback. Now, if you've watched my channel for a long time or read my books, you know that I am a huge ColecoVision fan, and I was really excited when they came out with the Flashback because it has some home brews on there and some interesting things, and I was glad the ColecoVision was getting some extra love. I got mine at Dollar General because it has a built-in game, Antarctic Adventure. Even though I have the actual Antarctic Adventure for the regular ColecoVision, I wanted the version with an extra game. It says it includes authentically designed controllers. Yeah, they're sort of patterned after the original ColecoVision, but they were a little stubby. The ColecoVision Flashback I was excited about, and I was disappointed at the same time. It's got a lot of great games. It's missing a few key titles. The joysticks are too stubby, and mine actually broke. This doesn't work, but I am going to replace it because there's some games on here I like to play, and I just like to fire it up every once in a while. Mine did break, but I do intend to replace it. But I want to talk about my top 5 games for the Flashback because I did play it quite a bit, and then give you 5 honorable mentions. So he said top 5 or 10, so I thought I'd do both by giving the top 5 and then offering 5 honorable mentions. That's just how I'm going to do it for this video. For whatever reason, just having some fun here. So what are my top 5 games included in the Flashback? Now, the Flashback doesn't have Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Jr. It doesn't have Mr. Do or Ladybug, so it's missing some key titles, but it has some excellent games on here. These top 5, I'm not going to put them in order. I'm just going to talk about each one for a little bit. These are fantastic titles. Pepper 2, an incredible maze game. Now, I don't recall seeing this game ever in the arcades back in the day. This is a wonderful maze title, and I just don't remember seeing it in the arcades. The first time I ever played it was when I got it for the ColecoVision in 1983, and I could not believe how great it was. It's got the great Alfred Hitchcock theme. It's got excellent maze action, and if you like Amadar or Kicks or those types of games, Make Tracks, you will love Pepper 2, so I highly recommend it. Top 5 for sure on the Flashback. Miner 2049er, I've talked about this game a lot. Just an amazing title, a great third-party title for the ColecoVision. It's got 11 levels compared to 10 on the 5200 and on computers. It's a climbing game with some Pac-Man elements to it, and it's just phenomenal. It's a deep game with a lot of strategies. It's very challenging to beat. I've never actually beat the game, but I still love playing it. Jumpman Jr. Here's another difficult platformer / climbing game, you know, a non-scrolling platformer climbing game. Once I get to level 6 or 7, this game just gets brutally difficult. It is so tough, but it is so enjoyable, so much fun to play. It's a great challenge. Every time I play it, I never get sick of this one. Zaxxon, just a phenomenal port on the ColecoVision. It's hard to believe that the ColecoVision can pull off a sort of 3D-esque game like Zaxxon. This was a big game back in the arcades by Sega, and I remember seeing this for the first time in the arcades, and it was just one of the best looking games of its day, and it translates wonderfully to the ColecoVision. No, the scrolling's not as perfect, and it doesn't have all the elements, you know, all the different visuals, but it is a great game for the ColecoVision. And Frenzy, wow, the sequel to Berserk. Now, the Atari 2600 had a great version of Berserk, you know, where you walk around shooting robots in these mazes. And then Berserk was ported to the Atari 5200 with voice effects. Both great, but Frenzy, I believe I like even better. It's a fantastic sequel to Berserk. Once again, you're walking around in a series of mazes, shooting robots, and it's just tons of fun. Again, like Jumpman Jr., it just never gets old. So those are my top 5. Now I'm going to give you my 5 honorable mentions. Jungle Hunt, just because it's such an amazing arcade port. It's an almost perfect port of Atari's arcade classic. It looks great, it plays well. It's just a good looking game for the console. And I don't play it as much as the first 5 I mentioned, but it is just a terrific game. Just objectively speaking, Jungle Hunt is awesome. It's a great port. Squish 'em Sam, this is a fantastic climbing game, and I play this over and over, and it's got some cool voice effects. Squish 'em, great stuff. Love me some Squish 'em Sam. You may have never heard of this game, but if you've got a Flashback and have never played it, or if you want to just played on emulation or something, check it out, Squish 'em Sam, great climbing game. Venture. Now Venture is definitely an early favorite on the ColecoVision. It's a fantastic port of a game that I never played back in the day. I've played Pepper 2 and Venture in the arcades in recent years at some of these retro arcades and gaming conventions, but I didn't play them back in the day because they didn't have them at my Aladdin's Castle or Malibu Grand Prix or Putt Putt or Land of Oz. They just weren't there. They were somewhat obscure back then, never saw them, but wow, I absolutely love them on the ColecoVision, and I've played them in the arcade since. Super fun. Venture, it's an adventure game, but it's really a maze shooter because it's simple. Just in terms of, what you do. You just go from maze to maze, shooting arrows at monsters and collecting the treasure. There's nothing complex about it, and there's no RPG elements really. But it is an adventure game, just a simple one. Venture is awesome. Oil's Well is a terrific maze game. I absolutely love this one. On a console that has great maze games like Mousetrap, like Ladybug, like Pepper 2, Oil's Well sometimes falls between the cracks or gets left out of the conversation. It's adapted from a computer game. I highly recommend Oil's Well. If you love maze games, it's Pac-Man, sort of, but with a twist. Check it out on the Flashback. Now, last but not least, this title might really surprise you that I included it. It's called Ms. Space Fury. Ms. Space Fury. Yeah, you might have heard of Space Fury, the arcade shooter, the classic, but you might not have heard of Ms. Space Fury. That's because it's a homebrew title published by Digital Press. Digital Press did a series of collector's guides, and they've got a website, and Joe Santulli, the owner of Digital Press, has the video game store, New Jersey Digital Press, and he's a co-founder of the National Video Game Museum. They did him with the help of some, he sort of came up with the concept, and then some programmers put these concepts into play, so to speak, and created Ms. Space Fury. It's definitely inspired by Miner 2049er, the climbing game / platformer, but it's got some Space Fury elements as well, that classic space shooter. But Ms. Space Fury, and again, in a console that has a lot of great platformers like Donkey Kong Jr., Space Panic, Miner 2049er, and several others. Rock and Rope. It's got some great climbing games / platformers on the ColecoVision. Ms. Space Fury adds to that mix, and it's excellent. Really loved it. Probably one of my favorite homebrew games that I've played. All right, guys, let me know in the comments, what are your top 5 or 10 favorite games on the ColecoVision Flashbacks? I definitely left out some good titles like Montezuma's Revenge, like Omega Race, Nova Blast. There's a lot of great games on here. Sir Lancelot I enjoy. But you guys let me know what your favorite games are on the Flashback. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you so much for your comments. I always get a kick out of reading them. And thank you for subscribing, and just thanks for being you. We will talk to you in another video. If you're a fan of my work, you might want to consider supporting me on Patreon. For just a low fee each month, you get a lot of extra content. Another way to support the channel and my writing career is to buy books direct from me, including the 100 Greatest Console Video Games, the Classic Home Video Game Series. It's like an encyclopedia set. And this massive bad boy, the NES Omnibus Volume 1 A through L. I will put links in the description of this video where you can buy books direct from me and where you can support me on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.